He's all that we need, ain't he? We need not another. He's a God of mercy, a God of love. He's a God of wrath. He's a jealous God. You not serve no other but him. This morning we're going to speak on something that it's hit on here and there and stuff, but I don't know. The Lord's dealt with me very strong on it, and we just want to put it out there. I know it may be not as, it's below the surface. I ain't saying just hitting on surface areas, but it's below the surface, but it may help you dig a little harder on it too to make sure we ain't overtaken in anything in our life as far as what we're going to be talking about this morning. But the subject's going to be jealousy. And the Lord started dealing with me on it earlier in the week, and He's took our hearts with it. So you got to speak what your heart's filled with that He feels. So if we tried to do anything else, we'd just fumble and fall this morning. But we want to do what the Lord have us to do. But if you'll turn to Songs of Solomon, 8th chapter, 6th verse. That'd be the verse we'll start out with. We've got some more reading to do too, but it may be slowed down just where we can hear, and whatever the Lord wants to do. But I love Him, and He's a good God. But this is a matter that is people gets taken over with it, and they don't even really know it sometimes. They don't recognize it. Because most of all, a lot of people don't read the Word to recognize it, Hunter, what is going on in their life. They don't look in that mirrors, Brother Larry brings out often. They don't look in the mirror to see themselves and see what's going on in their life. I depend on the Word to show me what's going on in my life. I do, and I want to fix whatever's wrong. I want to fix whatever's wrong and make it right, because He's a soon-coming King, and I want to be ready. I want to be spotless. I want to be without blemish. I know I'm talking spiritually now. In this flesh, we're going to fail. Like Sister Donna said this morning, we're going to let people down. We're going to let God down. But we can be perfect in God. We can have that love. We can be perfect like He's perfect. We can do that, Larry. I believe that. And but we're in this flesh right now. We're going to let people down. We're going to let God down. We're going to sometimes do things and say things, but the main thing is to make it right. It is to make it right. God knows your heart before you went into it. If you went into it with a wrong heart, and if you went into it in a way and you know that it was going to hurt and you don't go back and fix it, you need to fix it. You're in trouble, because I'm telling you, this day we're living in, the church needs to fall in love. Fall in love with each other. You know, we was out there on the lake Saturday, and we didn't know nothing was going on, and ain't never had phone service up there to look, and we hit a certain part of the lake, and my phone went off, and there's a text come through to pray for Brother Josh, and we kept going around and around trying to find that so we could text back, but we just couldn't text. I said, well, I know one thing we can do. We can pray. And we prayed, and the Holy Ghost fell on that boat, and I thank the Lord for He's got the service. He can get a message through. I don't care where you're at. He can. When AT&T says I can't, He says I can. I can do it. He's a little bit higher than these wireless systems we have, ain't He? He's a good God. But we hope to help you this morning. Song of Solomon 8 and 6 reads like this. It says, set me as a seal upon thy heart, as a seal upon thy arm, for love is strong as death, and jealousy is cruel as the grave. The coals thereof are coals of fire, which hath a most vehement flame. You may be seated, but we want to speak on jealousy just a little bit this morning and do the best we can with it. As our knowledge, I'm not a very smart man. But I love the Lord, and I know what He's done for me, and He can do it for everybody. But jealousy, there's another word in there that says cruel. See, jealousy is cruel. And cruel means willfully causing pain or suffering to others. That's what cruel means. And this jealousy, and we all the time, we take jealousy as something, and there's another word goes right along with it, is envy. Jealousy and envy walk hand in hand. Jealousy is like a three-party stage, and envy is a two-party stage. But you take people that's got jealousy upon them, and it's a spirit. The Bible speaks in one place there about a spirit. I preached on it here before, about a man got a jealous spirit over his wife that he thought that she had slept around on him. So when they took this woman, they took her, and when this jealous spirit come upon him, he took her to the priest, and he took and made what he called a bitter water. And they made this bitter water out of the dust that was in the floor of the temple. And they take this and put it in that water, and when this woman drunk this, if she had committed adultery or fornication or whatever upon her husband, then her thigh would rot. Her thigh would rot. And this is what's happening to people today. People is rotting with this stuff in them and don't even listen. Priests, we got a high priest. His name is Jesus Christ. There, you can take the Old Testament out if you want to, but I believe there's still bitter water. I believe there's still things that we're drinking. Why? Because what are you doing? You're sitting under the preached word. You're taking of the bread and you're taking of the blood unworthily, and these things, what's it going to cause? So it's going to cause problems with your health. It's going to cause things to come upon. That's why there's sickness. That's why there's many sleeping among us, Brother Larry. There's things that happen. And jealousy and envy is one of the biggest things that's going on in the land, and it all starts with number 10th commandment is thou shalt not covet. If people would mind the commandments and do, but the 10 commandments is over with. That's Old Testament. You better get them back if you want life and life in Jesus. We've got to have it. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor, his wife, his things, his job, everything that he has. We don't do these things anymore. Why? There's a spirit within us that should drive these things, Brother Larry. They are this jealousy. It goes on. People don't realize. You know what jealousy does to people? Jealousy will cause you to kill somebody. You know why there's some murders out there? It's because of jealousy and envy. There's people that are so in love, they call in love with their spouses, with their jobs. They'll kill anybody for their spouse. They'll kill anybody for that position at their job. They're so in love with money that they'll do whatever it takes to keep where they're at and to make sure nobody else gets it. That's what jealousy causes all this. It is, and it's envy. It's also envy. There's more envy spoken in the Bible than the word jealousy. But you can go through and it's the same thing. It means the same thing, and it's going along with the same stuff. But this jealousy, we got to have it in our life. What is if jealousy in a church? If it's in a church, Brother Larry, we ain't never going to get along. If it's in a body of people, and that's even including my own body. But if it's in a body of people, it's constantly going to fight and gnaw and dig and gag and make you sick, and you won't want to go nowhere, don't want to do nothing, don't want to be around nobody. You think everybody hates you. I'm telling you, the devil gets in people with this, and they think of all kinds of things that ain't even going on, ain't even being said or done. But this has got a hold of you. And you think you don't trust nobody. Can't be around nobody. Don't want your spouse around nobody. Don't want you going around. Why? Because afraid something's going to be taken from you. But I'm telling you something. That's why we teach to get in Jesus. Get in Jesus. Make Jesus number one. If your husband or your wife's number one, Jesus is not number one. And all of this goes with the pride of life, the lust of the eye, and the lust of flesh. If you've got jealousy, you have not conquered none of these giants. And that's the truth. You cannot have jealousy and have these things conquered and say this is who I am. You can't do that. If you've spoken tongues and you got the Holy, you're a kicking so hard, things might go all right for a little while. For just a little bit. Then something's going to flare up again. It is. Why? Because that's in there. That's a root. That's a root that's in there that needs to be killed out. And the only one's going to do this for you is people's going to counseling all over America over jealousy. People's paying hundreds of dollars to get jealousy fixed. And he's got it for us. He's got it for us if we want it. It's called born again. It's called change. It's called setting up a new life in Jesus Christ and having Him in us holy. A-W-H-O-L-L-Y. Holy. to be separate from the world. People's jealous over people's jobs. People's jealous over their things, over their material things they have. People is just jealous, tore down over if they'd have contentment, then they would have gain. If they would take and do if they'd look at themselves as, I've got Jesus. You can have everything I got, but you can't have Jesus. They ain't listen, Jesus is the number one, most important. Why? Because Jesus brought me from here, and He brought me up here. That was my first love. My first love, and I ain't forgot about Him. And He's brought me out. I didn't get into jealousy. I'm glad there ain't a jealous spirit ever got a hold of me. Lord God, I don't want it. I don't want it, Lord, but if I have to walk through that fire, He'll walk through it with me. But I don't want that. But people's got a jealous spirit upon them, and they need to get rid of it. Jealousy is a combination of possessiveness, suspicion, rage, humiliation, can overtake your mind and threaten your very core as you contemplate your rival. What it causes you is you sit and you contemplate against people. It'll make you pray that people fail in life. Jealousy will make you pray to see somebody fall, to see them lose something that you want. Jealousy will cause that. It'll cause you to love to see people hurt. Oh God, they're crying. It's a coming to them. How many has ever said it's a coming to them? How many's ever said it themselves? It's a coming to them. That ain't right. That's jealousy. That's envy, Brother Larry. It don't matter if it comes to them or not. Jesus has taken me through mine. Jesus has taken me through this. Praise be. I hope they don't have to go through it, Brother Larry, what I go through. I hope they never have to. I hope I can help them stay away from it. But when you're right in the middle of it, this jealousy, you're getting right in the middle of it. You got to get out of it. And there's a way to get out of it. It's Jesus. Jealousy even causes competitiveness and goes along with envy. And it even goes as far as death. People get so hung on a spouse, a child, or a loved one that they will lose their God-created mind when they leave. Jealousy. Jealousy of death, that it will take something from them that they love most dearly. We better get hung on Jesus. I'm telling you, Brother Larry, I'm preaching this on my heart this morning. But you got to get held on Jesus. You can't have it on the job. You can't have it held on to your kids or your wife. You've got to get a hold of Jesus, because that's who's taking us through. That's who's going to keep us. That's who's keeping us now. And we've got to take and get away from this and go with Jesus. Hold on to Him. I love saying Jesus, don't you? Why do they get puffed up when you say Jesus? Jesus, glory, hallelujah. Praise be to God. This is why Jesus made it to where He can say, I'm the way. They ain't going to be no jealousy. That's how He made it to where the church will not have jealousy among them. Because He said, I'm the way. When we think we're something, we're nothing. He said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. When we think we're doing it all right, He'll still look at you and say, you're wrong. Amen. He said, I'm the way. That's why He says, wasn't of works as any man could boast. Amen. If we could work more than one another to get there, it wouldn't be right. We could be envious and jealous. Amen. But we can't do that. God set this up a way that we could love with a pure love, Brother Larry. He set it up in a way that we could love each other and not look at each other down on their noses or whatever. It don't matter about that. The Lord has come to save, seeking to save those that's lost. We're found. Lord God, and we're blessed. We're blessed. Turn to Romans 13:13. If you got your Bibles, you don't have to stand. We're just going to jump back in 2 here. I got to find it myself here. It says, Let us walk honestly, as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, and not in strife and envy. This is how we're supposed to walk. Either the word means something or nothing. Now measure yourself to this word this morning. Don't put this off. Don't put this off and say, it ain't me. Lord, I hope him or she's a getting this. Take and measure yourself with this. This is a measuring stick. Measure yourself to this. Is this me? Am I living this life? How am I acting toward them? What am I saying? What's going through my mind? You know what I noticed yesterday, Hunter? We was going up, taking that trailer up there to the lake yesterday. We got behind some motorcycles. And you know, I was behind them motorcycles. You know what went through my head after a couple miles? Maybe all right to have a motorcycle. It could have grew from right there. It can grow from right there. Well, if I just kept, I'm going to go get one. Honey, we can't afford that pound. I don't care. I want a motorcycle. That's how it grows. It grows envy, wanting something like that. It didn't necessarily I wanted that man's bike, but I want one. That's what it would have grown to. But you thank God we got enough sin. Don't need that. You know what I mean? Don't need that. But there's some people ain't got that control. Everything they see that other people's got, or everything they hear that they've got, they'll even sit down and have conversations about it. Oh man, it's good to have it, ain't it? Oh, it's good, ain't it? Man, just get them to digging, and they'll dig plumb down to here and still can't find no money, but still they'll argue and complain and gripe until they get one. Then lose it. Amen. It's the truth. That's the way jealousy works. Jealousy, you're jealous. You ain't content in yourself. You surely ain't content in God. If you was content in God, you'd say, Lord, okay, if that's for me, whatever. But I'm content just having you, Lord. That's the way it works with people in marriages. They ain't content with their wives or husbands. It's why they go out and cheat. Jesus said, I'm a jealous God. He's jealous, but he's got a different type of jealousy than we got. He's got a jealousy. I created you. I'm the only one. When you know you're the only one, and somebody's made up something different, he's the only one. And somebody else is making up something different, and he get puffed up if he wants to. He can get mad if he wants to. And want you, praise be to God, you're praising me. You're serving only me. I'm your God. Amen. That's who he is. God's jealousy demands faithfulness and exclusive worship. Exclusive means drawn out, pulled away, separated, being different, doing what they ain't doing, going to church when they ain't going to church, doing these things. It's all right to be talked about you go to church too much. It's all right to be talked about you praise too much, or you pray too much, or you speak in tongues too much. But be zealous. I heard about a word zealous one time. Be plumb fanatical about it. Because Jesus is worthy. He's worthy. But jealousy takes over. Look at the marriages destroyed. I'm talking about not even in church. Jealousy has destroyed them. Why? Because people ain't got nothing to be content in. If my wife's content in Jesus, old hubby over here, he could run off with one and she could still be of Jesus. Or she could run off with one and I'd still be in Jesus. Find yourself content in Jesus. Wife will let you down. Husband will let you down. But Jesus will never let you down. We can't let this war and tear in our minds. This is something going on daily. And it's warring, and it's warring, and it's warring. And we don't read enough, don't pray enough, don't fast enough to keep the fight, keep us to where we can fight it. Amen. This is something that can be erased out of your life. This jealousy can be erased out of your life. Things can pop up, but it won't take hold. It won't root. It'll just be like water on a duck's back. It'll be gone. It'll be over with. Just a single gone. It will. That's how it can work if you want it. But there's things like Brother Larry or sister, she said, arbor. Don't arbor this stuff. Don't hold it. Don't keep it. Don't arbor it. But you're arboring it. You got a special place for it. They do. I'm telling you. Got a special place for it. In a place in your mind, in your daily walk. You've got a place for this. You need to replace that place with Jesus. You need to replace that place with prayer. You need to replace that place with taking and fasting. You need to replace it with Jesus. How does all this happen? How does all this happen? I can't explain it like that. All I know is it happens. Why put full trust, full surrenders to Jesus? Lord, you can help me with this. It's all right if my husband goes down the road or my wife goes down the road and I ain't sitting here plumb crazy about it. Huh? That's jealousy. I'm talking about the flesh now. But what has jealousy got to work with? The flesh. The flesh. That's what it did. This is what jealousy does to you. You take and you get puffed up. You get mad over every little thing that happens or goes on. Well, glory be to God, you couldn't be a preacher's wife. You couldn't be a singer's wife or husband. You couldn't do it. Why? Because they're all time gone. All time doing something. All time helping somebody. Oh, I feel like I'm last. You're going to feel like that. Ask my wife. You're going to feel like it. What's she getting me most of the time? Right there. Wore out, tired, ready for bed. That's what you get. No, I want first. No, God gets first. Might as well forget about that. Oh, you get to go help somebody? Praise the Lord. Hope I get a blessing out of you. I'm serious. You can't. There's women, goes to work, sits in the vehicle with their husbands, waiting on them. So jealous, don't even want to let them out of their sight because of this jealousy. And the Bible's over and over. You read in there, you start looking up the word envy, and you see how many times it's in that book right there. How many times over and over it's expounded for us to stay away from it, to get away from it. It ain't supposed to be in our life. It's one of the works of the flesh, glory, hallelujah, that right before you get to the fruits of the Spirit in Galatians 5. It's right in there. But we've got to recognize, we've got to get out of it. If it's happening, we've got to get out. It rules your life. It'll rule your life. You've got to get rid of it. I couldn't imagine. If it's happening, we've got to get out. It rules your life. It'll rule your life. You've got to get rid of it. I couldn't imagine being like that. I couldn't imagine it, Brother Larry. I never was a jealous person. And I thank God for it. Never was. But I've seen a lot of them. I've heard a lot of them. And it's a miserable, tore down life. That's why it's important to have a dating period before you get married. Why? Because you got to know somebody. You got to know somebody before you marry them. And listen, if it starts out with this, we got some young ones in here looking to get hitched. If they got a problem with this, don't you lay a ring on their finger. I'm telling you, don't you lay a ring on their finger. Don't you do it. And you'll get caught in it. You know what'll happen? You'll start staying home because they're puffed. You'll start doing what they want because they're puffed. I'm telling you, this is the way it'll happen. You better stay away from it for now. You better give it time to work. It's all right. The bed will be there when you get time. When it comes. That's what most people's getting married for any way these days, to have sex. They won't wait on nothing. That's all it's about. Get in the bed once, then that's over, and what do I do? Look around and say, man, we're in this now, ain't we? Yeah, let's tough it out. In Jesus' name. And don't get into it and depending on Jesus either. How? Why? It might split, whether you want it to or not. You better take and depend on Jesus before and say, Lord, make her what I need her. Make him what I need her. Make her what I need. I need a spouse. I need a helpmeet, not a fight. I need somebody to help me, not fight against me. This is what's going on these days. And the reason is because right back here, there ain't nobody telling nobody nothing. And then when you do, they get puffed up and angry and mad at you. It's the truth. I don't want to see you fall. Amen. We preach hard because we don't want to see you fall. Come on, we try to bring things out here that ain't mentioned because it's important. Because If we don't do it right, then it's going to be wrong all the way most of the time. It's very few people make it, Brother Larry. In this day and time we're living in, and everything out there gathered up that the devil's got a big basket of. Nobody wants what Jesus' basket stayed the same stuff in it for centuries. Same stuff, Brother Larry. And I'm still happy with the bread. I'm still happy with the blood. I'm still happy, glory hallelujah, with the baptism. I'm still happy with His Word. I'm still happy what Peter, James, and John did. I'm still happy with it. Amen. The devil keeps stacking in his basket. He does. And it's pretty. And you think you like it. But you know what happened? His basket uses up. His basket uses up. Then you'll start, you see the bottom of that basket, you start seeing that little woven. Things is running out. He ain't got nothing else to offer you once he's done with the worldly things. Then you got to come to Jesus to get satisfied, to get content, to have somewhere to be. Glory be to God. Jealousy's a fear of losing what you have to someone else. Envy is a wanting or desire for what someone else has. It'll cause you to be fiercely protective, vigilant of one's rights or possessions. Jealousy will. Do you realize that jealousy is what got the Hebrew boy stowed in the flame? Don't you realize jealousy is what put Daniel in the lion's den? Don't you realize jealousy is what drove Jesus up the hill? It was the jealousy. It was the envy of them. It was the envy of the priest. It was the envy of the Jews. They couldn't stand it that he was God. They couldn't stand it. He said, you're a man making yourself God. Envied him. Wanted what he had. Wanted to be who he was. But they couldn't. But they said we can kill him. We can get rid of him. Why? Because they used the same word. They took this right here and twisted and bowed and binded until they could. They didn't even have, when he took them to Pilate, he said, kill him. He said, our law won't let us do it. They didn't even have a law where they could kill the man. Thou shalt not kill. That killed everything for them. But you can kill him. He was scared to death. His wife had a dream. Scared to death. He washed his hands of it and everything. And had that blood upon. He asked him, let this man's blood not be upon me. Ask him, because he knowed. Because of their envy that they crucified him. Because of that. You'll kill your spouse over this. You'll kill your friend. Those you love the most, you will kill them with jealousy. You'll kill them with it. It's like a lethal drug that you put in your system and it slowly kills you and takes you out. That's what this is. And it goes on spiritually. But it has to work out through the flesh. It has to work out through the flesh. Recognize it. If this is something we're going through, we need to get a hold of it. We need to grab a hold of it. If you got a spouse or if you got a friend or a girlfriend or whatever, grab a hold of it. So we need to work on this. We need to get this fixed. I want to live a happy life. I want to live a good life. I want what mommy and daddy's got. I don't want anything else. I want what Jesus got for me. And that's what they have, is in Jesus. You got to do it. With jealousy, I'm telling you, marriage don't work on a one-side party. It don't. That's the same way with you and Jesus. It don't work just on his side, not yours. That's the way everybody's got him today. Yeah, they got him on his side. He's doing his part. But I can do whatever I want. No, you can't. You're married to him. You took on his name. You're sitting under him. You're listening under him. He's Jesus. He's Jesus. He said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. He's a good God. Proverbs 14:30 says, a sound heart is the life of the flesh, but envy the rottenness of bones. Proverbs 27:4 says, wrath is cruel and anger outrageous, but who is able to stand before envy? Even old Joseph, that's what got him sold off into Egypt, was envy. of his brothers, Brother Larry, because of a relationship they had with the Father. He had a relationship with the Father that they couldn't have. Why? Because of obedience. When Joseph was told to do something, he was to do. You know, that's why our kids feel left out sometimes. We got one kid that'll be obedient and do whatever you say. Then you got another one that just ain't. You can't reward them like the other one. You can't treat them equal, Larry. You can't. Because you've got to be just. Just like God, you got to give it where it belongs. You can't. If Danny don't listen to me, and Addie does, I can't hold nothing back from her because he ain't a listening. God don't do that with me. He don't do that with me. Can't help it your day's bad. I prayed this morning. I give him time this morning in the Word. I took and walked with him and talked with him, meditated upon him. Got up singing a song this morning. And gee, I can't help your day's bad. I'm telling you, just take and give a little bit more time to God. Give it to him. It's a coming through. People need to understand it. It's a coming. If you're doing what you're supposed to do with God and you're still having a bad day, your good days are coming. It's a coming. Keep walking through the valley. Keep walking up the hill. The hilltops are coming. It's a coming. Dry lands are coming. You can't give up just because somebody else is smiling and you ain't. See, that's being jealous again. It all leads back to it, Larry. That's being jealous again. Well, look what they got. I can't have that. There you go, being jealous again. I got it in Jesus. Yeah. Be content. Be content. Everybody gets in a way they want to be like everybody else. I can't be like Larry. Could you imagine two Larrys? Could you imagine if we was all the same? Could you imagine if everybody's just the same, Larry? How boring it'd be. We're all particular for a reason, because there's many members of this body. See, if it was all the same, we could all just be one thing. But there's many members, and he's going to place you there to where it's needed. It is. Because there's people in here that's prayer warriors. There's people in here that's visitors. There's people in here that's singers, preachers. They're all different sort. Just filling a seat sometimes. It's just somebody. Letting somebody see the old swelled up face and a tear running down. I get blessings out of that too, Larry. To look back and just see somebody about ready to pop, say, man, Lord, stick a needle in him. Let him blow all over his place. Why? Because that's part of him. I love every part of my Jesus. Every part of him. If you are a sweat gland, I love you. If you are a pinky, I love you. Because it's Jesus. It's Jesus, and he loves you too. A man loves his wife. Everything about her, whether she burns the bread or not. He loves her. He loves her. Everything about her, Larry. Ain't nothing you say about her to hurt her. That's the way Jesus is to the church. He loves her. He loves her. And also, somebody that loves you will correct you, will rebuke you, reprove you, will help you along the way. That's what love is. You know, even in 13th chapter of Corinthians, 1 Corinthians, about love, it says, charity, don't envy. It envieth not, Brother Larry. Charity, love, don't envy. See, that's what I'm trying to tell you. We try to measure ourselves. Measure yourself by the Word. Not by the material things of life. Not by what they have and you ain't. Measure yourself by the Word and you'll start receiving. You'll start receiving the same thing. You'll start getting it. You'll start getting, well, everywhere they go, they're happy. Just keep measuring yourself. Keep washing yourself in the Word. Keep standing on that rock. It's a coming. It's a coming. We got to get ourselves subject to this. Subject to God. And when we do that, it's going to happen for us. Man, he's a good God, ain't he? James 3:16. It says, for where envying and strife is, there is confusion and every evil work. I don't like envy, do you? I don't like jealousy. That's evil. That'll cause you to do evil against your brother. evil against your sister. It's happened to me before, Larry. It's happened to me before. To taking, because the devil's in there feeding you stuff. I can't stand him. He's a liar. And you get to believe in that liar. Falling right into his trap. You ever seen them traps they make with a little bit of brush over them big holes? That's what he does, and you fall right into it. Then here you are up here bitter and weeping, snotting, trying to get things right, going to have to go to people and apologize. I've had to do it before. We've got to take and notice that jealousy and envy's in our life. If we don't get a hold of it, Larry, nip it in the bud. Get rid of it. Say, Lord, help me. Don't get up in the morning and try it yourself. Well, I just ain't going to say this today, or I ain't going to do that today, or do this. No. Get down on your knees. Say, Lord, whatever it takes to get this out of me, or fix me, Lord. Help me this day. Help me this day to do this. And there's deliverance for you also. If people want to go ahead and give up, Larry, there's deliverance for them. There is deliverance for them. If they want to go ahead and give it up and get done with it. Some just don't want to give up. Their mouth speaks something, but their heart's still holding on to it. Still holding on to it. That's the reason Jesus, he said, with your lips, you love me, but in your works, you deny me. From your heart, you don't love him. Your lips is a rattling, flopping together, not meaning nothing, and he knows it. If people would understand that Jesus is already there, and knows your heart, knows your heart. I'm telling you, he knows it. And he knows everything that goes on. He's a good God. I'm glad he does, don't you, Larry? That's why when somebody down the road accuses me of something, Lord, you know. And just go on about my day. Lord, you know about that. Yeah, I didn't do that. Now, if you done it, it's a bad day. Lord God. I got to go apologize now. I got to own up to it. It's mine. You've already owned up to it with Jesus. You got to own up to it with them. He knows it exactly when you're done. All right. We're getting close to the end here. It says, how do we heal this? And it's with the Word. Go to Psalms 143. It's good to read the Word and recognize things. Psalms is a big book, ain't it? Little short chapters in it. Psalms 143, 7 through 11. Cry out! That ain't what it says, but hear me speedily. O Lord, my spirit faileth. Hide not thy face from me, lest I be like unto them that go down into the pit. Cause me to hear thy loving kindness in the morning, for in thee do I trust. Cause me to know the way wherein I should walk, for I lift up my soul unto thee. Deliver me, O Lord, from mine enemies. I flee unto thee. Hide me. Teach me to do thy will, for thou art my God. Thy spirit is good. Lead me into the land of uprightness. Quicken me, O Lord, for my name's sake, for thy name's sake, for thy righteousness' sake. Bring my soul out of trouble. And of thy mercy cut off mine enemies, and destroy all that afflict my soul, for I am thy servant. David cried out to the Lord. David was after the Lord's heart, Brother Larry. You've got to cry out to God about these situations. You've got to cry out to God with these. Anything that I've had problems with, I've had to cry out to God to get anything done. I couldn't do it with myself. I had to fast, and I had to pray, and I had to cry out to God. See when you fast, you ain't supposed to talk about it. You ain't supposed to brag on it. When you fast, you just fast. A lot of times the Lord will speak to me, or things will happen, but you just fast. But here's something: if you recognize jealousy in your life, you fast about it. You get this old flesh hungry. You get it humble. That's the problem. Nobody gets humbled anymore. They don't. I'm telling you, when you get so far, you'll get humble just by hearing his name. You'll get humble just by seeing somebody else cry. You'll get humbled real fast. You'll come from a feel good, you think nobody could hurt me today, but I'm down to a sob and tear in just a little bit because of somebody else's hurt or pain. The other day, when I got that text, that was always on my mind. Lord, my brother. I didn't know nothing about Mandy. About that part, but I was still praying for him because I know Mandy. I said, but that come out of my mouth. I said, Lord, help Mandy out there in that car. I said, help her out there in that car. And I didn't know what was going on, but the Lord did. And when you got a love for people, and this jealousy and envy ain't there, you can pray for them. Listen here, this is the bonus. When you ain't got this in your life, you can help me. When this jealousy and stuff ain't overtook you, you can help somebody. You can pray for them with an earnest and a true heart and get down and shake heaven for them and see it move down Huntington or see it move in Logan or see it move over across the sea somewhere. You can move God if you live right. He loves somebody that lives right and lives holy and set themselves aside to make things right. You can help somebody. Why don't we want to help somebody? If you wanted to help somebody, you'd do better. You'd recognize. That's why we work on this old flesh. That's why we work on, Lord, I want to live holy. I want to live upright before you. For when I hit my knees, I can help them when they need it. Lord, I'm telling you, I take my pastoring seriously. I do. I know I'm a working pastor, and there's people that says, well, you shouldn't be a working pastor. You should get, I understand that, but look, what I got, I take it seriously. And when I go before God, I want to be able to touch him for you and do so. Praise be to God, to shake heaven and say, Lord, they're hurting. They're there, Lord Jesus. Rub that balm on her. I can't take enough back balm down there to help you, but Jesus can do it. Glory, hallelujah. But if you ain't living right, he can't hear you. His face is turned from you. His ear is deaf to you if you ain't living the way you're supposed to. If jealousy's got your heart and got everything about your life, if you got a jealous spirit, it's got you. It does. It's overtaken you, and it needs to be fixed. But that is the bonus part, to be able to help somebody. It is, Larry. To live right and to live good for, because I want people to be able, he'll pray for me. He don't care how I look. I'll go to him. He'll pray for me. He don't care how I smell. I'll go to him or her. I'll take it. I seen them down there and they didn't judge me. They didn't start throwing off and hollering at me about stuff. I'll go to them. I'll go to them. Let God do what he does in his time. He does. I know God does things like that. Just boom, boom, boom. He can do it, Brother Larry. But I was a work in progress, wasn't you? But you're a work in progress. Lord, help me just to hold them, not shove them. Help me to hold them and not throw them down. Help me to look upon them, not shut my eyes. Help me to hear them, Lord, and not turn a deaf ear to them. Lord, when they need help. I understand some people are just hard to help. Some people, they don't seem like there's no help for them. That's the ones you turn over. Jesus, I've tried. Now it's causing me. That's causing me to slack, Lord. We need something done here. It's causing me to lose my temper. I'm telling you, you can get so far with people like that, buddy, and you get aggravated. We just got to lean more to Jesus. Lean more to him. Pull him closer. Lord, show me how. Show me how. And he'll do it. There might be a silent moment, but he'll do it. He will. He'll fix it. He's a good God. I love him. If we don't depend on him for everything, we ain't depending on him for nothing. Isn't that right? If he ain't first, he's last. I heard a man say one time, if you ain't first, you lost. There ain't no second and third place. There's number one, and that's Jesus. He's got you. But we love you. And we know that there's lots more in there on envy and jealousy. Look it up. Google it. Find all the scriptures, read them, study them. Get that. Make sure it don't. I wanted it for a warning. I told the Lord, I said, Lord, it's for a warning. People sees this, that they can go ahead and get rid of it, Brother Larry. Get rid of it. Don't even let it start. Don't even let it start in our life. Fires will get kindled. But Brother Jamie said, don't be throwing no wood on it. Leave that wood off of it. You keep it over and you stack, devil. I don't want none of your wood. You know, oil is different than wood. Oil is a pure flame. I mean, it is pure, Brother Larry. And you take wood, it just smokes and gives off a bad odor and all that. But you take oil and you burn oil, buddy, it's pure. It is. You could tell. I believe that's the reason they used oil all the time. Because in a house, when you burned that oil like that, like they use, you didn't get all them headaches and sniffles and all this stuff out of it. It was pure. Oil is pure. And that's what's in us is pure. Pure oil. And when it burns out of us, it's pure. When you help somebody, it's going to be with a pure heart. He's everything. He's a good God. I love each and every one of you this morning. And we hope we helped you in some way or did something. Let's not let this stuff overtake our life. Let's give God the glory that he deserves. How do we give him the glory? We try to be as much like him as possible. Give him the glory. Give him the glory. Because we just want him to be magnified and lifted up. And if you feel like your prayers ain't going nowhere, start magnifying him. I found out when I'm down praying, it just seems like a dud. You ever have a dud? I just start telling him how good he is. I call him my wonderful counselor, mighty God, everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. I call him my rock and my sword and my shield, my anchor. He's my high tower. I just start telling him all that he is. He knows it, but man, I believe he smiles. I believe he smiles and says he remembers who I am. And he's a magnifying me. I love him. He's a good God. I love him. Y'all just pray for me.